Welcome back, everyone. Got an exciting machine update for you here today. We're going to be running the DC Tig side. We'll go through the features and functions of it, but we've got our new updated Lightning MTS 275P. So this is the Pulse MIG. Not much different on the, or nothing different on the Tig side between the regular MTS 275, but this one does have the Pulse. But we haven't done any videos with the new case and the new menu with the 275, so we're going to run through the Tig side real quick. Run a couple beads with some ER70 S2 on some 1/8 inch mild steel. Kind of show you the high frequency start, obviously, but also do live lift, lift arc, and we'll run through the pulse. This machine does have DC Tig pulse wave shape. So we'll run through that, show you a little bit of the difference between like a standard DC pulse, which is like a square wave where it's just banging your high and low. And with the DC pulse wave shape, it'll kind of roll in if we do a sine wave, or it'll be real linear with a triangle wave. So we'll run through that here in a second. Right now, let's get to the machine. Let's go through some setup, kind of show you what this thing has to offer on DC Tig, and then we'll get to running some beads. All right, so here we are at the machine. If we weren't on DC Tig, obviously we would just scroll through our process buttons, come over to DC Tig, press our down arrow. See, we're at 10 start amps, just fine for 332nd tungsten. We've got an 8-second post flow, 1 second pre-flow on steels, mild steel stainless. I like to run 1 second pre-flow. On aluminum, I might do 0.6, 0.7. So 1 second, we're gonna come down again. Come down again. We on our HV start. Again, we do have our lift and live lift. Live lift, the torch is always hot. Lift, we have to use a remote like the pedal or the finger switch. HV start, it's the high voltage start, the solid state inverter, so no more points on this machine, but that's your high frequency start. And then we have pedal mode for our remote. We do have 2T, 4T. Oh. So we've got our different pedal modes, like if we're going to run a finger switch or something like that. The 2T and 4T plus A is amp control. So that's for our EV series of amp control torches. So you don't want to use those if you're using the finger switch. They are meant for the amp control torch. So we're on pedal right now. We've got pulse off and we've got our spot off. We've got 1/8 inch material. So let's go ahead and bump this up. We'll just do 141 amps to start. So nice, easy setup there. We are running our new like Nova Gen 3.5, I think is what we're calling it. Our new Nova torches. These will be coming out soon. I've explained them in a previous video on the updates for them, but we are running the Nova 17. We're running a gas lens with an Edge number 7 gas lens cup, running 332nd tungsten. It's about a 20-degree point on this, so a nice needle point. We are running about 20 CFH of pure argon. Let's go ahead. We'll do we'll do a couple low amp starts, and then we'll get into running some beads. All right, here we are at the plate. We're just going to do a couple low amp starts, show you how this thing lights up. We'll get to running a bead, running through all the other settings. It's a classic Everlast crack of the arc coming on. So again, we're at a 10 amp start. Boom, right on. And I'm just barely rolling into the pedal just enough to get the micro switch to click. No flutter whatsoever, just instant, like flipping on a light switch. So even at minimum pedal input, minimum start amperage, we get bam, instant arc. So let's go ahead, let's do a little butt weld real quick. We'll set these up. So just running some steady amperage. Let's do a little foot pedal pulse. Roll in and out of the amperage nice and smooth. Go ahead and taper all the way down. Nice smooth taper down. Let's get us a nice restart. Let's jump ahead just a little bit. Back up, melt it back in. Restart that run. That was running so nice, I'm just going to run that out. Another really nice taper down. So super smooth operation there. Real nice restarts. Again, that even at 10 amp starts, you know, a lot of times you'll want to set even on 332nd on DC, you'll want to be about a 25 amp start. 10 amp start lights up immediately. So really crisp starts on this machine. Let's go ahead, let's go back to the machine settings. Let's turn on that pulse. We'll go through the traditional square wave pulse. Then we'll go through and show you what the Sine pulse looks like. All right, so we're back at the machine. Let's go ahead and set up that pulse. So we're gonna come over to our right side. We're gonna hit our down arrow. Hit it again till pulse lights up. Just one click over on the knob. So we are on square pulse, 1 hertz. So that's 1 pulse per second. We're at a 50% on time at a 20% background. So we're splitting our pulse time. So we're gonna be basically on for half a second. We're at high amperage. We're going to go to low amp for half a second, and that low amperage is going to be 20% of whatever our pedal input is. So real simple pulse here. Again, this is square wave, so it's just going to go high, low, high, low, high, low with no in between. It's just going to jump straight up and straight down. So a traditional DC Tig pulse. Let's tack this up and make another run real quick. So I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but you can actually hear the arc kind of clicking between its high and its low. So it's just a really aggressive high and low, high and low, high and low. Not really any in between. You can see even as we taper down, we're still having our pulse all the way down. There we go. So 1 hertz, a little bit slower than I typically like. I'll usually like about 1.8, but I wanted to get a longer duration of the pulse. That way we can see this a little bit better. So now we're going to come over, go back to our pulse setting, and instead of square wave, we're going to do sine wave. So it's really going to be a sine wave. So it's going to roll in and roll out of our highs and lows. So it'll be more like a foot pedal pulse. We are going to give it just a hair more amperage. So now instead of a clicking behind our high and low, we should see a ramp up and a ramp down. So it's just a little bit smoother of a pulse. Of course, with it rolling in and out of our highs and lows instead of just jumping high and low, we're going to get a little bit more heat input than a typical square wave pulse. Let's go ahead. We've got about another 3/4 of an inch of that run to finish out. We might as well go ahead and jump over to our triangle and just let you guys see that. And I'll even turn that pulse frequency down. Let's turn it down to 1/2 hertz. And instead of running that, I'll just run it right here on top. So now you can really see our high and low roll in and out. So that's a lot like a foot pedal pulse there. And again, still super stable taper down. Sometimes even on full-blown TIG machines on a pulse like that, as you taper down, when your background pulse gets, or your background amperage gets below your minimum, it'll just cut the arc off. Even with this machine, you can see we can still go down all the way to our minimum. We still maintain a nice stable arc before we go to terminate. So super, super stable machine. Obviously DC is not the, not the most complicated process, but still a lot of really nice features on this. You can really dial this machine into what you're doing, whether it's real thin stuff, a little bit thicker projects. That machine pulse too, like especially if you're doing cages, I like setting up on 2T with the finger switch and then setting a machine pulse like that so you get a real nice even up and down to your pulse. So it makes it really easy when you're laying upside down in the back of a car. You can maintain your heat control without having to use a foot pedal. So a lot of really nice features on the new MTS 275. If you guys are looking for a big do-all machine for your shop, take a look at this unit. I think you'll be really impressed with it. Till next time, thanks guys. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.